life, we are always confronted with situations that deal with relationships of several quantities. Among these situations are bus fare and distance of destination, total cost and the number of kilos bought, and the amount paid to a worker and the number of hours working. These are quantities where increase or decrease of one brother produces a corresponding increase or decrease of the other. So, to find it out, let's get started. Alright, so let us begin our lesson by doing activities that will illustrate the concept of direct variation. These activities use situations we practically encountered in our real life. It is hoped that you can be able to identify relationships and patterns and further use these concepts in solving problems involving direct variation. So let's take a look with this situation. Jello plans to buy rice out of his savings. He wants to help his mother, whose work has been affected of the community quarantine implemented by the government due to the pandemic. The variety of the rice he decided to buy cost 40 pesos per kilo. So, let X be the number of kilos and Y be the cost of rice. Let's take a look with this table. The number of kilos represented by X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and total cost represented by Y. You have there 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. Let us be guided with this question. As the number of kilos increases, what happened to the total cost? Will it increase, decrease, or remain the same? Well, as you can see in our table, as the number of kilos in X increases, the total cost in Y also increases. So from 1 to 5 kilos, you have there, you will also have 40 pesos to 200. Is that clear? Now, let's proceed to the second question. Using this pattern, how much is the total cost if the number of kilos bought is 5? You have it there already in the table. That is 200 pesos. In finding the cost of rice, the number of kilos is multiplied by a constant number which is equal to 40. So that's why you have it there. 40 times 5 or 5 times 40. That will give you 200. Now, the third question, what mathematical operation did you apply? Is there a constant number involved? The mathematical statement that describes the relation is y is equal to 40x, where y represents the cost of rice and x represents the number of kilos. This statement means that for two quantities, let's say x and y, an increase in x causes an increase in y as well. Similarly, a decrease in x causes a decrease in y. And that involves direct variation. What is direct variation? It is a relation when one quantity is equal to a constant times the other quantity. Okay? This can be expressed into mathematical statement or equation as y is equal to kx, where k is equal to y over x. K is the constant of variation or constant of proportionality. So this statement can be represented by y varies directly as x, y is directly proportional to x, and y is proportional to x. As I've said a while back, that these statements mean that for two quantities x and y, an increase in x causes an increase in y as well. Similarly, a decrease in x causes a decrease in y. So if one quantity goes up, then the other quantity will gonna go up as well. If it is going down, the other quantity will also goes down. Alright, so that would gonna be our illustration. Now let's take for example, translate the following statements into equations. Okay, let's have number 1. A is directly proportional to B. That can be represented by A is equal to KB, where our K is equal to A over B. Let's have another one. The circumference C of a circle varies directly as the length of its diameter. That could be represented by C is equal to KD, where K is equal to C over D. Again, our K here is our constant of the variation. Next up, we have the cost C of fish varies directly as the number N of kilos bought. So that could be C is equal to Kn, where K is equal to C over N. How did you get that one, by the way? You just simply have to apply multiplication property of equality, or somehow you have to divide both sides by N for you to have your K. Okay? So let's use our idea in solving word problems. Are we ready? Let's go. Solving word problems. Let's have number 1. If y varies directly as x and y is equal to 48 when x is 16, find the constant of variation and the equation. So again, y is equal to 48 when x is 16. We are asked to find the constant of the variation and the equation. Okay, so let's have now the solution. To find the constant of the variation, let's have this step. First, translate the statement y varies directly as x. And that is y is equal to kx. Substitute the given values of x and y to the equation. So again, the y value is 48 and x is equal to 16. Apply multiplication property of equality, which is MPE. So multiply both sides by 1 over 16, since 16, the value of our, we are looking for the value of our K, which is the constant of the variation. In that case, multiply both sides the reciprocal of the numerical coefficient of K. And that gives you K, therefore is equal to 3. So that is our constant of the variation. So let's proceed to how to find the equation. To find the equation, use the translated statement y varies directly as x, and that could be y is equal to kx. Simply substitute 3 to k in the equation. So therefore you would have y is equal to 3x, and that would gonna be our equation of the variation. Is that clear now? Alright, let's proceed to the second problem. The table below shows a relation between the distance in kilometer d and the time in hour t. Find the constant of variation and the equation which describes the relation. So from there, you have here the time in hour represented by t, distance in kilometer represented by d. So you have there 1 hour, 2, 3, 4 to 5, and the distance that is being it's there is 80, 160, 240, 320, 400. And take note, we are asked to find the constant of the variation. So the solution here is our solution. To find the constant of the variation, you have there, you will apply d over t. Okay? So our d represented by the distance over the time, which is 80 over 1, 160 over 2, 240 over 3, 320 over 4, 400 over 5. If you're going to have in a simplest form of those pair, you would have 80 divided by 1, that would give you 80. 160 divided by 2, that would give you 80. And so on and so forth, as well as 400 divided by 5. That will give us 80. So in that case, we have formed the data in the table d over t as our constant. K therefore is equal to 80 by definition of k, or the k is the constant of the variation. Okay? Now, to find the equation, how would you find it? Okay. So from there, d over t is equal to k. Remember that one? That it could be represented by d is equal to k times t. Since the ratio of the d and t, or d over t, is constant, therefore you would have substitute, since k is equal to 80. So d over t is equal to 80, and then apply the multiplication property of equality, or MPE. Multiply t both sides. And that's why you have there d is equal to 80t. That's the equation of the variation. Is that clear now? Okay, let's now proceed with problem number 3. Okay. The graph shows the number of bottles N produced by a machine and the time t in hours. The machine is working. Find the constant of variation and the equation which describes the relation. Okay, so you have here our illustration. Okay, please take a look with our illustration. Now, to find the constant of variation, you would gonna have, as shown in the graph, the ratio of n and t, or n over t is constant. That could be n over t is equal to 1,800 over 2 and 3,600 over 4. You could also have 5,400 over 6, 7,200 over 8, and you could also have 9,000 over 10. So if you're going to simplify those pair, you would have, by definition of k, or the constant of the variation, you would have k is equal to 900. Okay, so 1,800 divided by 2, that is 900. 3,600 divided by 4, still 900, and so on and so forth. So k therefore, or the constant of the variation, is 900. To find the equation, you would have the ratio of d and t, or d over t, is constant. So from there, d over t is equal to 900 as our k, right? So since k is 900, therefore, you have to multiply or apply the multiplication property of equality, multiplying t both sides. So that's why in our illustration, you have it there. D therefore is equal to 900 times t. And that would be the equation that we're looking for. The equation of the variation. Is that clear? Okay. So let's now proceed with problem number 4. Okay. If m varies directly as p, and m equals 3, when p is equal to 10, find p when m is equal to 1.2. Okay. So again, m is 3, p is 10. Find p when m is 1.2. All right. So to find the constant of the variation, again, translate the statement to y varies directly as x. So that could be m is equal to kp. Then substitute the given values of x and y to the equation. So we will be using m is equal to 3 and p is equal to 10. So that's why you would have 3 is equal to k times 10. Apply multiplication property of equality or MPE. So multiplying both sides, the reciprocal of the numerical coefficient of k. What is the numerical coefficient of k there? Since we're looking for our k value, that is 10. So, reciprocal of 10, that would be 1 over 10. So, simply multiply that to 1, the whole equation. Therefore, you would have k is equal to 3 over 10. So, that is now our constant of variation. Next, to find p in the equation, since we are looking for the value of our p as being asked in our problem, use the translated statement y varies directly as x, which is m is equal to kp. Substitute your k value. Our k value here is 3 over 10. So substitute that one with our m is equal to 1.2 in our equation form. So right there, 1.2 is equal to 3 over 10 times p. Okay? So we are looking for the value of our p, then multiply both sides by the reciprocal numerical coefficient of our p, which is reciprocal of 3 over 10, that would gonna be 10 over 3. So multiply that one, the whole equation, therefore you would have p is equal to 10 over 3 times 1.2. And that would simply give us p is equal to 4. And that is the value of our p in our problem. Alright, so maybe you would ask this question, is there any other way of solving this problem? Well, of course, there is. Because actually, there are too many ways on how to solve this kind of problem. So I'm gonna give you this other way. Okay. So we have here same problem. You would have the concept of proportion can be also used in this problem such that x sub 1 over y sub 1 is equal to x sub 2 over y sub 2 in describing the relation of the quantities involved. Alright. So from the given, of course, our m sub 1 is equal to 3 and p sub 1 is equal to 10 and m sub 2 is equal to 1.2 and we are looking for the p sub 2. To solve, you would have therefore m sub 1 over p sub 1 is equal to m sub 2 over p sub 2. So, by substituting, you would have 3 over 10 is equal to 1.2 over p sub 2 since we're looking for p sub 2. So, right there, apply cross multiplication property of equality. So, multiply 3 times p sub 2. You would have 3p sub 2 equals 10 at saka si 1.2. So, simplifying 10 times 1.2, then divide both sides by 3. That's why 10 times 1.2 all over by 3, that will give us p sub 2 is equal to 4. Is that clear now? So therefore, the value of our p in the variation is 4. So are we now ready to proceed with our activities? Okay, so let's take the first activity. Write an equation to the following statements. I'll be giving you 5 seconds to answer. Are you ready? Let's go. The cost C of meat varies directly as its weight W in the kilograms. Ready? Go. The correct answer is C is equal to KW. Alright. Number 2. The amount paid A for the purchase of the shirts varies directly with the number N of shirts bought. Ready? Go. The correct answer is A is equal to KN. You've got it right. Number 3. An employee's earned income L varies directly as the number of days he works An employee's earned income L varies directly as the number of days D he has worked. Ready? Go! That is L is equal to KD. Number 4. The perimeter P of a square is directly proportional to its side S. Go! The correct answer is P is equal to KS. That's good. Number 5. The volume V of a cylinder varies directly as the height h of the cylinder. Go! And the correct answer is V is equal to KH. That's very good. Now let's proceed with activity letter B. Determine if the tables and graphs below express a direct variation between the variables. If they do, find the constant of variation and an equation that defines the relation. Let's take a look with our problem. I'll be giving you, again, 10 seconds to answer. Anyways, this is very easy. Okay, so let's have number 1 and 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, since there are 3 questions, I'll be giving you 30 seconds to answer. So, for number 1, you have it there. Number 2 as well. And number 3. Ready? Start. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so let's check it out for number 1. Okay. So the correct answer is direct variation. Our k is equal to 2 and our y is equal to 2x. Okay. Number 2. It is not direct variation. Okay. Number 3. Direct variation. K is equal to 10. Therefore, the equation is gonna be y is equal to 10x. Let's proceed to number 4 and 5. 20 seconds. Ready? Start. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so let's check. The answer is direct variation, where our constant of the variation is 3 over 2 and the equation is y is equal to 3 over 2 times x. Okay, number 5, you would have not direct variation. Is that clear now? Okay, so let's now proceed with activity letter C. Solve the following problems. Let's start with number 1. Y varies directly as x if y is equal to 8 when x is equal to 24. Find y when x is 6. I'll be giving you 30 seconds to answer. Ready? Start. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's check. What is the value of our y? Our k is 1/3 and y is equal to 2. That's correct. Let's proceed to problem number 2. If m is proportional to q, if m is equal to negative 18 when q is 9, find m when q is equal to 11. Ready? Start. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's check our answers. So the value of our k is negative 2 and y is equal to negative 22. That's correct. Let's proceed to problem number 3. In a 100-kilometer trip, Jojo uses 12 liters of gasoline. How many liters of gasoline will he use on a trip of 350 kilometers? Are we ready? 30 seconds, go! 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready? Let's check. Okay, let's check the answer. So the correct answer is k is equal to 25 over 3 and y is equal to 42. That means 42 liters is needed for him to have a 350 kilometers trip. Okay. So, let's check it out. We have here, fill in the blanks to make the statement true. Okay. So, we have here number 1. If the statement m varies directly as n, then the corresponding equation would gonna be m is equal to kn. Number 2. In direct variation equation, y is equal to kx, where k is equal to y over x, is the blank of variation. Well, of course, that is the constant of variation. Number 3. The graph of direct variation is blank. What is that? That is straight line. Alright, so number 4. For the two quantities in direct variation, an increase in one quantity causes blank in the other quantity. What is that? That is increases as well. Okay? So once it decreases, the other quantity will also decrease. Okay, number 5. If P is directly proportional to Q, then the equation for K is blank. What's your answer? That is K is equal to P over Q. Alright, so congratulations. Now, let's proceed with, you are now ready to move forward, of course. Okay? Now, let's have this performance task. You're going to do this one at home. Alright, so what is in your performance task? With the directions, collect your electric bill for the last 3 months. Record the kilowatt hour consumed against the amount due on the table below. Where is the table? Here is. Okay, you have there the month above, kilowatt hour consumption, and amount due. Okay, so the one that is the blank there, you will just simply fill in the blank in the box rather. And of course, you must have to be guided with these following questions. Alright, so for your guide, what have you observed in the amount due and the kilowatt hour consumed value? Or consumption value rather. Okay? What type of variation is being described by the situation? Next, gather ideas from the family members. List down some ways to minimize electric consumption. How can these measures help the family? Of course. Well, of course, you will be guided with our performance task rubric for me to grade you, to give you the grade. I know you can do it. So there you are, data quality, data analysis, and of course, the ideas. If you want to reach a 10 points for the data, make sure that all data was complete and accurately labeled using appropriate units of measure. Same thing for the data analysis and ideas. Alright, so let's proceed with the post test. Okay, so for your post test, this is gonna be the direction. Multiple choice, of course. Read each item carefully, then choose the letter of the correct answer. And what are you going to do is that you're going to comment your answers in the chat box below. Right there. Okay? So you are going to comment your answers in our chat box. Is that clear now? Okay, so thank you for listening and keep safe, everyone. God bless always.